Alright, what's up guys? It's another day. Tomorrow we are beginning the teardown on the IS-300. So hope you guys stick around for that. That'll happen in this video. So stay tuned. Okay, so the game plan for the Lexus teardown is this. What we're gonna do in this video, hopefully what's gonna get done, is we're gonna pull the Lexus under the carport. It's probably gonna be raining tomorrow, I think, but we're going to start by taking the turbo system off. So we're gonna take the oil lines off, the intake, the downpipe, the turbo, and most likely the manifold, so that way I can get a clear look at the entire side of the block, because that entire side has oil, like where you can see oil has gotten onto the side of the block, whereas the intake side of the motor does not have oil on it. So I feel like wherever our leak is, it could be originating from there. Either that or it's splashing up off of something. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a good place to start. And potentially if we find the leak on that side, we may not have to pull the motor, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So that's the game plan.
Oh, look at that one. It sucks that I don't have reasons to wear these.
Okay, so we just got coffee at this little coffee place we'd never been to before. Quite expensive, wasn't really worth it. But now we are going to go work on the car.
Hey,
and
look at his hair. Oh my boy.
Why are you hating?
Because I don't like his hair.
Okay, this is Destiny. Say hey.
Hey.
This is my girlfriend. So she's gonna be helping me tear apart my car today. And by helping me, I mean she's gonna be doing everything.
Holding the flashlight.
And getting yelled at.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to move this under here, but we can't crank it because we're going to be taking all the turbo stuff off, and it'll be really hot. So we don't really have the time to wait for it to cool down. So what do you think, Destiny? You ready for this? All right, we'll update whenever we get this done. Okay, so what happened, Destiny?
I didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, she didn't. I busted my ass. Foot slipped. But we got the car in here. And so now the goal for today is we're going to take all this stuff off so we can get to the side of the block. So that way we can access the side of the motor and see if we can find out what is leaking. What do you think, Destiny?
I think I really don't want to do this, but I'll do it for you.
See, now that's what a girlfriend is about. Alright, so to start, we're going to take the intake and stuff off, I think. What do you think? Good place to start?
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Okay, so the intake is off, and the turbine on the turbo still looks good. No shaft play. Spins freely for the most part. Nothing messed up on the blades. So next, we are going to undo the O2 sensor connector, remove this from the turbo, from the intercooler. Okay, so having difficulties taking the compressor intercooler coupler off. It doesn't want to come off. And so I haven't found anywhere that looks like it's leaking just yet. Everything down here is covered in oil, but it doesn't look like any of this is the source. So that's not good. But anyway, still taking all this stuff off, and yeah. I'll say one thing, it's a whole lot easier taking all this off with the single turbo setup than it was with the twin turbos. Okay, so this is really, really loose. It's the turbo oil drain. I showed this off in the last video, but like it's really loose, as in I can free spin it with my hand and whatnot. So I've already loosened it just a tad bit, that's why the threads are exposed. But that might be my leak. I don't know for sure yet though, because I feel like if I was leaking up here, it wouldn't be dripping down off of the front subframe, because you can see oil and stuff underneath there drops. So I don't entirely know what's wrong with this thing yet, but my girlfriend just grabbed my butt. Okay, so we have the turbo feed and drain lines taken off of it. This one was very tight, so I don't think that's it at all. The drain was quite loose, but now is going to be the fun part of taking off the actual turbo, because these bolts right here are not very fun to get to. So take my advice and get a V-band turbo setup instead of a bolt one. Alright, so got the turbo off. It's sitting over there. I'm about to take the wastegate off so I can go ahead and change the spring in it later because it's running too much boost right now that I want to run for a daily. But basically, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with the car just yet. I'm going to take the wastegate off and I'm going to look under the manifold, see if I can't see anything wrong on the side of the block. And then if not there, then it's probably going to be something under the car to do with the oil pan, unfortunately, I believe, which is not good because that means the motor is most likely going to have to come out. And that's just not something I'm trying to do today because it's going to take a whole lot of time and effort to do that. So, yeah. But so far, we're breaking it down pretty easy, so I guess we'll see here in a minute. Okay, so here's my going theory. Ignore the fresh oil because that's just oil that came out of the turbo oil drain right there. But my theory now is that, see this line right here is a little loose too.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you, Dustin. Talking to the YouTube people. So that line is loose. I feel like that's responsible for this oil. And the drain line was loose. I feel like that's responsible for any oil that may have dripped right there. Problem being, the oil is dripping off of the center of the subframe on the bottom of the motor. So either the oil pan is leaking, or potentially we're dripping oil straight down right there off of these lines, and it's pooling right here in the middle of the motor underneath it and dripping straight down. That's my going theory right now. So say I don't get under the car and inspect anymore. My plan of attack right now is to put all these lines and stuff back on as tight as I can get them, degrease the side of the block and clean all of it up, and then let it run for a little bit and see if it still leaks or if I can find where it's leaking. If it still leaks, and I feel like it's probably the oil pan, not entirely sure. But what I'm about to do is I'm about to jack the car up a little bit. I'm going to try and get up under it and see what I can see from there. But that's my going theory so far. So, yeah. We'll see. Alright, so basically, got up under the car. There's oil all over everything, but it doesn't look like there's anything leaking. It all looks like residual, just oil drip. Like it's not on anything that has oil in it. I tightened the transmission drain bolt. It was already extremely tight as it was. That's the only thing down there that could be leaking like that. I don't necessarily see a lot of oil down there other than just grime. So thinking it might just be these oil lines, hoping that it might just be these oil lines. So we're probably going to put all this stuff back together today and see if that's what it is or not. So I'm actually going to get under the car right now, have some shop towels and some degreaser. I'm going to clean everything up as well as I can and see what is what on this. See if we can't figure out what's leaking. So yeah. Okay, so under the car, on the bottom of the oil pan, there's this little strip of gasket that's off of it. It's excess from whenever we resealed the oil pan. I don't know if this is where it's leaking from. That's right above the subframe, directly above the subframe. So it's a strong bet that that's probably where it's leaking from. At least I don't want it to be, because if it is, then this whole motor is going to have to come out. Transmission is going to have to get taken off. We're going to throw it on a stand, flip it over, and reseal the oil pan. At that point, I may as well go through some of the other parts of the motor and replace more gaskets too, just to fully seal this thing up, because my valve cover gasket is leaking too on one side, but that's not this problem. So yeah, it really sucks. But anyway, we're gonna tighten the shit out of these oil lines and start putting everything back together. We're gonna put the turbo back on and the intake back on. Probably not gonna put the downpipe or the wastegate back on, because I'm not worried about it making boost or having an exhaust. I just need to let it run long enough to see if that's what the problem is. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start putting all this back together, and you guys will see when it's back together. So alright, so we have everything put back together. The drip almost starts immediately after you crank the car, or at least it did. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna crank the car and I'm gonna get up under it and I'm gonna look and see if it's still dripping. If it's still dripping from where I think it is, then I'm most likely sure it is the oil pan gasket. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the light on, put it up under the car, and yeah, here we go. We're about to be really loud, Destiny, so you might want to cover your ears. No. Well, I don't see a leak. But I wish I had it on camera when I was revving it. That's why I just put the little revving clip in there to try to make it do it again, and it didn't. But when I was revving it, a blue flame just shot out straight out of the back of the turbo, which was pretty dope. But I don't see an oil leak, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it sitting for a little bit because we're got to go clean up and get something to eat and see what happened there. It may have just been a loose oil line. I don't know. If that's the case, then I'm probably going to order a new oil line kit just for good measure. Probably a better quality one. I think I'm using the CX Racing one. I'll probably buy the Powerhouse Racing one or the Boost Lab line kit. Not entirely sure yet if that's the problem, but I don't see any leaks right now, so that's good. Yeah, so we're gonna go get something to eat, and we're gonna leave this thing just like it is now and start from there when we get back. Alright guys, we are home. Carport is disgusting because of this stupid, disgusting ass weather. But anyways, let's look and see if we're leaking any bit of oil. And it sure enough looks like we are. I think. Yep. I think we are. Let's look. Oh yeah. Yep, definitely leaking oil. That's fucking awesome. That means this stupid motor is gonna have to come out of this fucking car again. Anybody want to buy it? For sale. Not really for sale, but this is aggravating as fuck. Alright guys, well that was gonna pretty much do it for this video. Don't exactly know what I'm gonna do about this yet. It's very aggravating. That would be my dog yawning. And she's ready to come out of her pen. I just got home. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm trying to figure out what to do about this. I don't really know. Don't really have anywhere I can pull this motor, and I don't want to do it under this carport again, especially because this weather is as disgusting as it is. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Any thoughts on this, comment and let me know. And other than that guys, thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace.